And we want to get right to our upfront interview tonight. Dr. Brad Yuron, emergency physician at Michigan Medicine. Doctor, we thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the state reporting more than 8,500 cases over the last few days. About how many COVID patients are you seeing in your emergency rooms?
So every day is a little bit different when it comes to COVID, but I can say in the last several weeks, we've been seeing probably a few dozen COVID patients coming through the emergency department. And several of those have been sick enough to require admission, including admission to the ICU, requiring advanced life support.
Yeah, and the numbers just baffling and really hard to hear, you know. What kind of differences are you seeing in patients compared to last spring?
So I think there's two important differences between last spring's surge and this year's or this spring's surge. And first and foremost, it's in the ages of the people that are coming in. We just heard the vaccine numbers, which are very encouraging. And what we have seen is that unlike last spring, where we saw lots of people in their 70s and 80s that were requiring hospitalization and care, those numbers have been relatively low. We've still seen some of those patients, but they've been relatively low compared to younger people who weren't afforded the opportunity to be vaccinated so early. So people in their 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, even their 20s are coming into the emergency department with greater frequency as we've seen increased spread among the younger population and faster spread in many ways. So we're seeing a different age group that we're seeing. And the other thing that's different is that a year ago, people were scared. Nobody really understood what COVID-19 was and how it was transmitted. And so people were afraid to come to the emergency department or come to the hospital to seek care. And every physician I know has a story of somebody in the last year who sat at home having chest pain that turned out to be a heart attack or waited too long to get care for a stroke. And the good news is we're not having people wait anymore. People feel comfortable and confident coming in to get that care that's needed. But now we're at a situation where the hospital is running in its normal capacity, its normal volume. And now to have this third wave here in Michigan is really putting a strain on the system.
Yeah, it's very tough. What do you believe is causing this third wave and the surge in cases here in Michigan?
It's a great question. I think there's more than one thing that's accounting for it. One thing is that we know that the UK variant, the 117 variant, that there are a lot of cases here in Michigan. From the surveillance testing, more than half the cases that have been positive here in Michigan are that variant. And I can tell you that compared to a year ago, I'm hearing the story much more frequently where entire families are getting sick, or people are reporting a history of someone coming in, a younger person particularly who lives in the home, then transmitting that to all the family members, including in some cases some elderly relatives. And so that spread, which very well may be due to the variant, seems to be faster. And I think a lot of it too is just everyone's tired of these precautions and everything that we've been doing for the last year. And certainly in healthcare, we understand that. We want to get past this too. But I think it's a combination of that faster spread and people being tired of taking those precautions that's really driving this third wave.
And so what is your message to those people feeling that pandemic fatigue?
I would say that we are so close to a resolution. We have vaccines that are working, and the numbers that I just described in the older patients that are not having to come to the emergency department really demonstrate that the vaccine is effective. And I have yet to care for anyone in the emergency department that has been fully vaccinated. So the vaccines do work. And so I would say, please hold out a little bit longer, get vaccinated. A vaccine is going to take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks to start working, but the things that we can do right now are the things that we've been doing all along. That's staying home if you're sick, avoiding large groups, and washing your hands, wearing a mask. These are things that work right now until the vaccines can kick in a few weeks.
You know, poignant to hear you say you have yet to care for anyone in the emergency room who's fully vaccinated. You know,
That's absolutely correct. I mean, there are cases that have been described of people that have broken through the vaccine. I have yet to see that, and those cases are very, very rare. So the message, really should be clear. The vaccines work, and everyone now over the age of 16 in Michigan is eligible, and should really go out and get that vaccine so we can get back to some normal.
All right, Doctor, we certainly appreciate your time this evening. Thank you for the update and the explanation that we all need, and that reminder again.
Thank you.
Brian.